Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks. Yeah, we got Hot Seat Central. We're going to be talking all about these coaches that are on the hot seat. And you saw the warning. This is going to be a spicy video. We're in the off season, and I'm going to do what I want to do. So if you're somebody that has paper-thin feelings and any little thing bothers you, this is not the video for you.
Just walk away.
That's right. Just walk away. Humongous always knows best. I always put him out if I'm going to do a spicy video. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, this is also going to be very smart-alecky because that's what I do. Now, there's one coach in here really shouldn't be on this list at all, but I have no choice, and that's going to be obviously Ryan Day. Look, I don't control your fan base. I wouldn't have him on a hot seat at all. Guy wins over 90% of his games. Now, I know 75% of you are not that way, but there's a 25% very vocal group at Ohio State that want him gone because of the Michigan losses, two of which Connor Stalions was allegedly heavily involved. Sign stealing, anyone? But anyway, we'll get into Ohio State in a minute. You know what I want to talk about first. I've not talked about Florida in quite a while, and it's time. So Florida's going on 3 losing seasons in a row. And you know how upset that makes me. That's right. And Billy Napier's had the last 2. He went 6-7 and then 5-7. And I'm sure you've seen their schedule. It is no bueno. It is bad. I don't see how they're going to improve much on last year because here's the thing. They had a very good quarterback in Graham Mertz. He shocked me. He played way better than he had at Wisconsin. He was a 55% completion guy, and last year he was over 70%. He balled out, and he had moxie. That last play where he got hurt, where he was running for a first down, that was one of the toughest plays I'd ever seen. He literally got sandwiched by 2 linebackers and dislocated his shoulder. But I'll tell you what, that dude's a baller. But even with him playing really well, you still went 5-7. And I don't see an improvement this year. Your best case scenario is 6 wins, and there's no way Billy Napier survives that. There's just not. And his one saving grace was his recruiting class, which at one point, most of the year was at number 3. It wound up like 12th or 13th. It dropped 10 places because they lost the last 5 games in a row. That's going to happen again. Now, let's take a look at this schedule. And for you Florida fans, you might want to hide your eyes because it is a brutal schedule. Look at this thing. Now, the first game, orange and blue spring game, I like your chances in that. I think the Gators will win that. But then it gets tough. All right, Saturday, August 31st, you're going to play Miami. That's a nice little warm-up. Miami's not too bad. Then you got your one easy game, Sanford. And then it starts getting tougher and tougher and tougher. You got Texas A&M. You might be able to handle them, maybe. Then you do have Mississippi State. I think you can win that game. Through this, you might be, these first 4 games, you're probably going to be 2-2. 3-1 is possible. Then you got to play UCF, which that should be a win, but I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to play you tough. They're going to give you everything they got. And Gus Malzahn's team is a well-coached team. I would not be a bit surprised if they upset you.
You walk over, but you're limping back.
Then you got to go to Neyland Stadium and play Tennessee. We are going to be waiting for you. And I so hope it's a 7 o'clock game. That would be fantastic. Then you're going to play Kentucky, and for some reason, Kentucky's got your number. I haven't figured out why. They just do. I think last year they ran for 300 yards on you, or one guy did. Then you have an off week, and then depression sets in. I want you to look at these last 5 games.
Oh, no, no.
Number 1, Georgia. Number 2, Texas Longhorns. Number 14, LSU Tigers. Number 7, Ole Miss Rebs. And then Florida State, your nemesis. That 5 games right there, look at that. That's not a pretty sight, those last 5 games. Now, last year they lost all 5 because it was very similar. There's no way. Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and then Florida State. No. And I don't know that Billy won't make it through that. He'll get let go somewhere in between there. Maybe he'll shock the world and win 8 or 9 games. I highly doubt it. Not with that special teams. And he still hasn't hired a special teams coach. That cost you 2 games last year. Out there with 13 players, 10 players, getting 5-yard penalties, make you miss a field goal against Arkansas. The Utah thing was unbelievable. You had 2 people out there with the same number. Talking about bad timing. That cost you at least 7 points right there. Here's the one positive, and I don't like doing this, but I got to do it.
I got to do something here. I still can't believe it.
You do have a very good fan base. They're very passionate, and they're huge. You have plenty of money. You have a great recruiting footprint, and you've won natties down there. I don't know what's going on with you right now. And next coach you get, you might not want to go to the Sun Belt. You might want to get a guy that's actually proven, and you've got the money to do so. So you should be able to get a good coach. And Lane Kiffin would take that job like that. And I'm sorry, Ole Miss, I hate to tell you, but he's going to leave you. That's what the guy does. He's not loyal. And he would be a good coach for you. He would be Steve Spurrier 2.0, only punkier. But until then, Dalton, tell him.
It'll get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Roadhouse.
So you might as well go ahead and prepare yourself for 2024. It ain't going to be pretty. But anyway, I did want to drop that little bit of sunshine on you today. Now we're going to move on to our next coach. Old Shane Beamer. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, let's take a look at your schedule. Let's see how long you're going to be around. Old Dominion, you win that game. At Kentucky, you lose that game. LSU, you lose that game. Akron, you win that game. So you're 2-2. Ole Miss, you lose 2-3. At Alabama, 2-4. Oklahoma, 2-5. You might win that. Let's give you that win. 3-5, 4-5, Vanderbilt. Let's see, 4-6, 5-6, 5-7. Yeah, 5-7 is what you'll be. I don't see Beamer surviving that. I just don't. It's going to be another 5-7 year, most likely. I don't know who your quarterback's going to be. I don't have a clue. Last year you had Spencer Rattler, who was very good. This year you didn't even go to the portal. You didn't get anybody out of the portal. So I don't know. Maybe you got somebody over that's pretty good, but we'll see. But I don't like his chances of surviving this year. Now, as you know, he did get extended a couple of years because of his magical victories over Clemson and Tennessee, 2 top 10 teams. And, of course, the rumors and speculation are that Connor Stalions maybe sent you some signs that he had on both Clemson and Tennessee. A person with direct knowledge said that may very well have happened. But we can't prove it, even though we have a mountain of circumstantial evidence, which I've shown you many times. Yeah, right there, all of that. And Beamer, of course, had been fined over that very thing a few years before. But you know, the funny thing was, after they beat those 2 top 10 teams, magically scored 9 straight touchdowns after not being able to score, they went 2-7 the next 9 games. That's just weird. So anyway, we'll see how this plays out. The big problem with South Carolina is Clemson. If South Carolina was the only big dog in the state of South Carolina, I think y'all would be fine. You'd be kind of like Tennessee. South Carolina is a good, solid recruiting base, but you're having to split it with Clemson, and we always try to steal folks out of there too on you. But it also hurts you financially because a lot of the money goes to Clemson out of South Carolina that should be going to you. Whereas for Tennessee, we get all the money. We get it all. So that's the problem with South Carolina, and I don't know how to fix that. You need Clemson to be bad. You need Dabo to retire, them to make a bad hire, and then y'all dominate South Carolina again like you should. I mean, you are the home school. But until that happens, it's going to be tough. I know you got some decent players in the portal, and you always have some talent, and sometimes you show up. But I'm just not a believer in Billy Napier. That's what it boils down to. I'm just not seeing it. He's sort of got that whole Butch Jones thing. It just, I don't know. The hot dog thing, breaking his foot, all that's so butchy.
You have to not lose the game before you can ever win the game.
Anyway, let's move on to our next coach. Oh, Sam Pittman. Oh, Sam Pittman. How he survived last year, I don't know. Would they go 4-8 and he survived? That shocks me. I thought they let him go for sure. Let's take a look at the schedule, see what's going to happen. All right, going to play UAP. Who in the world is that? Well, they'll win that. If I don't know who it is, they win. Oklahoma State, you'll probably lose that, 1-1. UAB, you win that, 2-1. At Auburn, you lose that, 2-2. Texas, you probably lose that, 2-3. Tennessee, you're going to lose that, 2-4. LSU, 2-5. Mississippi State, I'm going to give you that one, 3-5. Ole Miss, 3-6. Texas, 3-7. Louisiana Tech, 4-7. at Missouri, 4-8. 4-8 again. So that'll end Sam Pittman's run. And nice guy, good offensive line coach, but this just hadn't worked out for Arkansas. And Arkansas has got some money, by the way. Their NIL is no joke. They can be a good team. And they're the only team in Arkansas to really speak of. So they can become a good quality team. They need a coach, and then they're going to have to go out and spend some money. Now, here's the thing. They're going to put Bobby Petrino in there. He is the Trojan horse. He was brought in, I think, to replace Sam Pittman, and they just want to get everybody used to him being around. So we'll see if that Trojan horse theory comes to fruition at the end of this year. I think it will. But anyway, that just kind of is what it is. Now we're going to talk about the one that I think is kind of ridiculous, and that's one Ryan Day. Guy wins over 90% of his games, seems to run a clean program, recruits like a madman, and a lot of people want rid of him, all because of Michigan. All because of losing 3 games to Michigan, 2 of which they realistically had your signs. That's what it appears from all the reports, allegedly. You'd beaten them to death for 8 straight years, and then suddenly Connor Stallion shows up, and we're just magically awesome. And it helps the recruiting, helps retain people. It helped him a lot. Gave more confidence. So it is what it is, man. But here's the thing. There's still people want rid of him. And this is Ohio State's year. Y'all spent a ton of money in the portal, a ton of money with NIL, upwards of $13 million to retain your talent and to bring in new talent. You got Caleb Downs from Alabama, the best safety in the country.
That's not fair.
Don't raise your voice to me.
You got the best running back in the SEC in Judkins, and you were already loaded. And you got a great quarterback from Kansas State who's a dual threat. So you should be really, really good this year. Let's take a look at your schedule. Akron. Watch out for Akron. They will hit you low and try to take your ankles and knees out. Be careful with Akron.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
Western Michigan, that's just 2-0. Marshall, 3-0. Boy, that's a tough start. Y'all going to be okay? Don't push yourself too much on that first month. All right, at Michigan State, Iowa. Okay, you're 5-0. Here's one good game. You play Oregon at Oregon. That'll be a good game. I'll watch the heck out of that one. So you'll probably beat them, though. I'm going to put you at 6-0 right there. Even if you're 5-1, you're okay. Nebraska, that's a win. Penn State can't beat you. They can't beat you or Michigan. So you're fine there. Purdue, you'll win. Northwestern, Indiana, no problem. Then you got Michigan, and Michigan's not going to be the same team. This is the big one. You win this one, he's golden. You lose it, you'd better be in the playoffs, and you better make a run. That would be your one saving grace. You cannot lose to Michigan 4 years in a row, even though 2 of them are very suspect. So we'll see how this plays out. I think you will beat Michigan. I think you will be in the playoff, and you have a legitimate shot at a natty. I think you with Georgia, and there's probably 10 or 12 teams out there that could win it, but you and Georgia should be in the best spot for it based on your schedule and based on talent level. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, I'd love to see my Vols pop in there in the playoffs, which I think we're going to make with Nico. And I think we will be a super dangerous team in the playoffs because of our offense and the speed that we go. We were nobody could stop us for 2 years in 21 and 22. We were scoring 46 points a game. We get back to that with Nico this coming year, we're going to be golden. So I'm super excited about the playoffs, but I do like Ohio State's chances. And if they don't and they fail again this year, lose to Michigan, don't get in the playoff, he'll probably be – I still can't believe it. But he may get fired. I don't know how you get fired winning 90%, but we'll see how it plays out. I wouldn't be shocked, though. All right, folks, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover my Vols, of course, the SEC and all these other big teams, and whatever else I want to cover. And if you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Hit this little button. I'd appreciate it. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.